everyone. It's me, Mitch Murphy, the Redpill rapper on Thoughtcrimes.ca. Welcome back to another episode, people. It's me, it's ya boy, it's Mitch Murphy. You can't really see me that well, so I'm gonna bring some candles over here, man. That's what it's all about. Candle light, candle bright. Can he do it tonight? The answer is yes, man. The answer is frickin' yes. And today, I've got a very special sponsor, and that sponsor is, which one should we go with today? The One-Eyed Budgie and Karamias, man. I've been leaving these guys out for a little while. You know what I mean? You probably haven't heard from the One-Eyed Budgie in quite some time, but the One-Eyed Budgie gift shop in Karamias is a beautiful, beautiful place. And they are actually the first official sponsor of the Redpill Rapper Show, man. They are the first sponsor, man. The One-Eyed Budgie and Karamias, boy, that's what it's all about, man. Those guys are high testosterone. They're all alpha male energy over there. Even the women, high testosterone. That's what it's all about. And if you go there, you purchase whatever you want and just say, have you heard of the Redpill Rapper? And they will, in fact, give you 10% off anything and everything that you are buying. Now, let me just check my mic. That's what it's all about. And if you go there... Oh, it sounds good, man. That sounds excellent. I'm just checking on the live because we got 3 people right now, man. I just started. We got 3 whole people on here. Nobody's really hanging out in the chat right now, but they are here, man. They are here, and it's because... here at the Redpill Rapper Show, it's all about compelling radio, man. Compelling radio, that's it. You don't have to agree with everything that I say. You don't. You just don't. But you'll find if you hang around, as crazy as I am, as Badman Redpill as I am, I'm right. I'm right, man. And, like, the truth is going to come out. You know, it's funny. That music video I just showed you, I guess if this makes it to YouTube, you won't have seen it because it's only on the live. But... the music video I just showed you is on my YouTube. It's my What's Poppin' remix. It's, I think, the first video that I ever put on this channel. I put that video out, and that was my first thing I ever did. And I put it out, and my whole town loved it. Everybody loved it. It got shared all over the place. Got 10,000 views on Facebook. Got like 1,000 views on YouTube, and it was big. It was, you know, it was a big deal, man. Big deal. Everybody loved it. I got a bunch of nice messages. Everybody was all stoked. And I think I disappointed a lot of people. Because I think a lot of people thought that I was going to just be like that, you know, Mr. Fun, Mr. Happy all the time. And that's a song I wanted to make. I was having fun, and I just had this energy going where, like, I went through a real nasty breakup. And I didn't want it to just be ragging on my ex, you know what I mean? Even though it kind of was, I guess. But I just wanted to, like, I felt this feeling a few times where it was just like, man, you know, I've been through this nasty breakup. I've been upset for so long. I just want to be not upset anymore, you know? And I think a lot of people, especially young men, have had that feeling before where, you know, you're just like over it. You're like, I'm over it. I'm not going to be all butthurt all the time. And you're walking into the club or you're walking into a Tinder date or you're just like walking around and you got your chest puffed out and you're walking real loud and you're just like, what's poppin'? You know, like, what's poppin'? Let's see what's poppin' out here. Let's have some fun. And, you know, just over it, putting the past behind you and moving on with your life. And I think I got that message across, you know, that vibe. And people liked it. People liked it. But, you know, then I did the Proud Boy song and I just put out some angry stuff. And I think a lot of people were disappointed because my intention when it got into, like, making music and that kind of thing wasn't to just make things that everybody wanted to hear. My intention was to, like, express what I had going on in my head and express things that, you know, maybe other people could find relatable, and especially to express things that people could find relatable that maybe they didn't know that other people were going through the same thing. You know what I mean? Because, man, a lot of people feel alone in this life and in this world and in this society. A lot of people feel alone that shouldn't, because there's a lot of us out there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of us out there that we know something's wrong. We know something's wrong with the economy. We know something's wrong with the culture. We know something's wrong with the society. We know something's wrong with, like, the general moral alignment of everything that we have going on. You know what I mean? And, you know, a lot of us come to different conclusions. Some of us pinpoint one thing that's wrong. Some of us pinpoint, like, a general directional flow of what's wrong. And that's why people, you know, they get into the right wing or the left wing, and, you know, whether that's politically or culturally or both or whatever. But people go, you know, people get into different tribes. People get into religion. People get into all kinds of different things to try to figure out what's wrong. What is wrong, you know? And that's a big question because to most of us, especially people that are awake and looking around, the question is not, is something wrong? The question is, what is wrong? And there's, obviously there's a litany of reasons, but like, I do think a lot of it can be boiled down to where it's like, if you want to get into like society at large, and I would tie in the economy with this, it's the bank. It's like my friend Keith Komar says, it's running for the Libertarian Party of Canada. The only party in Canada that talks about this kind of thing it's the bank. It's that we don't print our own money, and it's that the central bank is in charge. It doesn't matter who you vote for, the bank always wins. It doesn't matter what goes wrong, the bank always wins. It doesn't matter who's in power, it doesn't matter what disasters going on. Every single time the bank wins. And usually we lose, the people, the blue collar people, grassroots movements, everybody loses except the bank. The bank always comes out on top. And you can say that that's just how it is. And you can say that that's just coincidence. There's all kinds of different justifications you can make, but I say that's not okay. It's not okay that the bank always wins. And so let's do something about it. Let's vote for the one party that wants to do something about the bank, And a lot of people want to scapegoat to different groups. A lot of people want to scapegoat to different ideologies. But at the end of the day, that's it, man. The bank writes the narrative. The bank decides what goes on your television, man. And the bank decides when your churches are open or not, man. Like, all these people, like most people that don't want to wear the mask, they don't want to lose their job because they're in debt to the bank. And they've got a mortgage and they've got a car payment, they've got credit card debt, and it all goes back to the bank, and the bank always wins. You know what I mean? It's like, the responsible, quote unquote, responsible thing to do, right, is to go to college. And if you don't have a rich daddy, then you get loans from the bank. And if you're not getting it from the bank, you're getting it from the government, and the government either steals it from people that actually generate revenue, or they get it from the bank, And so, you go in debt to get a university education. And then the next responsible thing to do is, and let's leave the big expensive wedding out of this. The next responsible thing to do is to buy a house. And how do you buy a house? You have to get a mortgage from the bank. Do you get it yet? That's one thing. But why are our mortgages 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years? Why are they that long? It's because of how expensive the housing is. And why is the housing so expensive? Because of the bank. Because of the bank, man, every single time. So it's just like this has been going on for so long. And that's the problem. That's the problem. And then the other side of it is that, like, as far as what's wrong, what's the problem, is that, like, our society is completely flipped upside down. And a lot of people are waking up to this, man. A lot of people are waking up to this idea. And it's not even an idea, man. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a fact. It's just a fact that everything's upside down. What's good is considered evil. You know what I mean? Whatever is like wholesome and good is considered hate speech. Like, pretty much literally, you know what I mean? Pretty much every single thing that is, it's like the whole thing is subverted. The whole thing is upside down. Life is death. Death is life. Right is wrong. Wrong is right. This whole thing, man, it's like abortion is liberation, right? That's like a big one. It's like women's rights. That's what they call it. It's synonymous. They've made it. Whoever they are, I don't know who they are. But forces that be have tied women's rights to abortion. And, like, I don't know how that happened. You know what I mean? And I'm not even here to, like, make a claim or anything like that. But I'm saying that that's, like, their big thing. That's your number one thing, these feminists. I don't get it. I don't understand. Because every argument I hear that's pro-abortion, I just walk away going, like, that sounds more like murder. Sorry. Thought crime alert, Jack Clawson Radio Network, but it just does. And that's just like a prime example of what I'm talking about, is that it's considered virtuous, you know? And it's the same thing with like these counter protesters, right? Where we've got these geniuses across the street, where you'll read articles in the local paper about how it's because of people like this that we've flattened the curve in the Okanagan, you know, and in British Columbia. It's because of people like this. Fuck you! Oh. With the deep-seated passion, everything I have in my body, fuck you! So, like, that's virtue in this upside down, subverted world. Like, we're told that that is what is virtuous, and this is hateful. This is hate. This is what hate is. You know what I mean? These just like blue collar people that don't trust the television. You know, that's hateful. That's white supremacy. Like that's literally what our newspapers are trying to convince the public of, is that we're like white nationalists or something like that. It's insane. It's insane. And you know, we're taught that this is like offensive and wrong and you know, dangerous and all these things, when like that's just like what food is. That's what food is, man. That's like it's so funny. Like that's like an offensive image. You know what I mean? But I could have a picture of like Doug Ford. I could have a picture of me stuffing a McDonald's cheeseburger into my face, and nobody would be upset. You know what I mean? But that's what is a big draw for this show and this network too, man. This Jack Clawson Radio Network. And if anybody that is getting into my YouTube channel, just so you know, man, I've got a lot of content out from my radio show. It's on the Jack Clawson Radio Network. If you look it up on any streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podomatic, anything like that, just look up the Jack Clawson Radio Network, Jack Clawson Radio Network. And if any episode that's titled The Red Pill Rapper Show, that's me. And man, I started this early on. I started this really early because I saw this shit coming. And just to tie it back to what I was saying about my music video there, that What's Poppin' remix, it's like, you know, everybody liked that and they wanted me to do that. But I don't want to do that. I did, and I made it, and now I want to do something else. And man, when this Corona stuff went down, I just knew deep down in my heart what was going to happen. And I don't know to what extent. I don't know if people like me are going to be rounded up and, you know, put on boxcars and sent to re-education camps. I don't know. But like right now, we have, you know, Canadian citizens who are returning from overseas with negative COVID test results that are getting scooped up at the airport and put into hotels that are owned by China. Okay, like look this up, man. It's the Radisson hotel chain is owned by China, and this is going on in Ontario right now. They're being detained at airports and stuffed into these things, and they're fed like a bagel and an apple and a cup of water a day. You know, it's insane. It's insane. And I just knew this stuff was coming, man. I knew it before the mask mandate. I knew it, but like as soon as we had the 2-week lockdown, as soon as I heard the phrase social distancing, as soon as I started hearing the phrase new normal, like all these things, I just knew what it was. And there's a lot of us, man. And it's because, and it's funny, dude, like there's this Bible verse that says the meek, M-E-E-K, the meek shall inherit the earth. And I always had a problem with that verse. Because, like, I don't want to be meek. I want to be loud. I want to be a lion. I want to be a warrior. I want to be all these things. But it's because I didn't actually understand. It's like it makes me think of Rambo. You know, Rambo, the one that was filmed in Hope, British Columbia. He was just a guy who wanted to be left alone. You know, and like what you're seeing right now is, and what you're gonna see to a further extent, is what happens when they start to affect the people who just want to be left alone. You know what I mean? It's like blue collar people like me, that all I wanted to do is just find a nice woman, keep my plumbing job, and just make babies and like make smarter people. Because there's a lot of dummies running around here, and I was hoping that I could just outbreed the dummies. You know, but like for one, I went through a nasty breakup, right? The woman I thought was going to be my wife, it just didn't work out. We don't need to get into that today. But then all this Corona stuff went down, and all I wanted was to be left alone. But society refused. You know what I mean? Like my government officials, they demanded that they get onto my face, and they demanded that they get into my ears, and they demanded that I believe everything that was coming out of my black mirror. And dude, pre-corona, I knew what the news was. I knew that they were the enemy before Trump. I knew that they were the enemy of the people, the press. They're the enemy of the people, and I knew that. And I knew that government doesn't care about me. And I knew this. But I didn't, like, I just wanted to be left alone. I paid my taxes, you know, I paid my rent, like I paid all my bills. I just figured my shit out and just like was doing my thing. But the man, when the day came that the government wanted to get completely into my life, into every aspect of my life, was the day that I started trying to find protests. Because I'm not down. I'm not down, okay? Like, you have to leave me alone. You don't get to be this involved in my life. you know, and I don't care how many Instagram models on my Facebook page are upset at me, you know, and it was a painful process because I was all alone. I was very much alone at the beginning of this. And, I just kept talking. I just kept talking shit, and I kept doing my thing, and I just stayed firm because I knew what was coming. I knew what was down the pipe. I knew, and because it's obvious. It's so obvious, man. Like, you watch the news, it's so clear what they're doing. It's so clear, regardless of what, you know, regardless of what the survival rate of COVID-19 is, which is pretty high, regardless of that, regardless of all the science, regardless of the PCR test, I know what happens when the government gets this involved, and I don't like it. So, sorry. Thought crime alert. Jack Clawson Radio Network. We're not doing this. And I think that's something that a lot of people in the freedom movement miss, and that a lot of truthers miss, is that it actually doesn't matter what the survival rate is. It actually doesn't matter how ineffective the PCR test is. None of these things matter. It doesn't matter how many bodies are piled up. It doesn't matter. And it helps that this virus is clearly not as bad as we were led to believe and are led to believe. That helps. That helps my case, you know, so I'm not going to like ignore that. But a lot of people miss the fact that it doesn't matter. What matters is that we're supposed to be free. We're supposed to be free. And everybody knows that freedom comes at a cost. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are dumb. A lot of people are dumb, and a lot of people are selfish, and a lot of people are ignorant, and a lot of people are misguided, and a lot of people are very flawed. And so with freedom comes not just risk, but it comes cost. You know what I mean? For like big cost. But it's worth it. It's worth it because, man, a lion in the zoo, a lion gets free food every day, gets little pats on the head, you know, it gets unlimited water, it gets all these things. But the lion is in a cage. The lion doesn't get to roam free, whereas the lion in the Sahara has no security. It doesn't know where its next meal is coming from. It doesn't know when a bigger lion is going to come and, like, you know, scratch its face off. It doesn't know. It has, you know, it's not safe. But the lion in the Sahara gets to do as it pleases. And it gets to be free, and it gets to roam wherever it wants. It gets to do whatever it wants. It gets to stick its nose in places where it doesn't belong, and it gets to roar. It gets to roar, and it doesn't have to ask anybody for permission. And that's the life that I choose. And I thought that everybody was on the same page, man. I really did. That's the thing is like really amazing is with. I've always been well aware that everybody has different thought patterns going on. Everybody has like lots of different stuff going on in their head. But I kind of thought we all agreed that like, you know, the answer to bad speech is more speech. I thought the only people that disagreed with that were blue-haired feminists on Twitter. You know, I thought we all knew that. I thought we were all on the same page, you know, and, I thought that we all agreed that freedom over security is the right mindset. I thought that we all knew that. But, dude, this corona stuff made me realize how deep this programming stuff is. You know, how severely programmed the general population is. And it's insane, man. It's insane. Let me just check my mic. I'm watching my levels. I'm a little worried. Oh, yeah, I sound fine. You know, people really trust the graphs on the TV. They really trust the lab coats. They really trust the guy in a suit that, you know, got a bunch of votes, allegedly. Could it be? But, Corona, yeah, man, it just shocked me. It shocked me watching everybody put a diaper on their face and stay away from their family members and their loved ones and their friends. Like everybody, dude, everybody fell for it. Everybody just like bought right in, man. Everybody bought right in. And, yeah, man, it just woke me up to the fact that I've got some work to do. I got to red pill as many people as I possibly can. And, you know, it's a heavy burden. And, you know, I've lost a ton of friends and, I lost respect. I lost a lot of things, but, I didn't lose respect for myself. Because, you know, it's funny, all these growing up, everybody says, like, always stand up for what you believe in and, you know, always be yourself. And then you start expressing yourself and they're like, oh, I don't like what you're expressing. You shouldn't do that, you know, and you start standing up for what you believe in. And they're like, I don't believe in that. Why are you doing that? Stop standing up for that. You know, it's so funny. It's so funny. Like, if I saw a group of my friends that really thought communism was the way to go, and they started, like, organizing and having protests and holding up the hammer and sickle and, with Che Guevara t-shirts on, I would laugh at them for sure. But man, I would respect it. I would respect it because like that's what they believe in and they're doing something about it, man. I'd so much rather see like a group of young people getting behind a cause and like really fighting for it and like vehemently supporting it and debating and doing all these things. I would so much rather them do that for something that I disagree with than for them to do what they're doing right now, which is just having blind faith in unelected health officials and graphs on the television and, science that they don't understand. They don't understand this science. And because somebody has a PhD in front of their name, they will do whatever they say. You know what I mean? And like, again, regardless of whether these experts are right or not, these experts are not experts in how to, structure your whole society. They're not. Sorry. They're just not. These experts are like, they might be the best people to talk to about how to keep this virus under control. You know what I mean? Like they might be the best people. Following their orders might be the best way to keep the virus under control. But they are not an expert in gauging every variable, man. They're not. And so we as people get to have a right we get to look around and be like, man, everybody's mental health is like really bad. And, we get to put this diaper on our face and be like, I feel muzzled. I feel like I'm muzzled. I feel like I'm not as much of a person when I put this thing on. We get to feel like that. Okay? Sorry, man. Sorry to all these like counter-protester health experts across the street, like health expert Heather over here. Like, sorry, man. Sorry, but that's just the truth. That's what it is to me. And I'm allowed to voice that. I'm allowed to feel like that.
With the deep-seated passion, everything I have in my body, fuck you!
Because, man, everybody under 30 that I talk to, when I talk to them about having kids, do you want to know what almost everybody says to me? They say, I don't want to bring kids into this world. Literally, man, people say that. It's really common. It's really common for people my age to say that. And what are we doing? We're trusting the experts. We're trusting the health experts. And so maybe it's time to take a step back and go, hey, maybe there's more to structuring a society than avoiding a virus with a 99.74% survival rate. Sorry, Thought Crime Alert, Jack Clawson Radio Network. But man, like, you're allowed to think that. And there's a lot of people that think that are too scared. And so, man, I just figured I'll say it. I'll just say it because everybody else is obviously too scared. I'll just say it. And man, like you don't have to go all the way down the rabbit hole to march with us. You don't have to like dig into 9/11 and you don't have to like find out about the basement of the Vatican and you don't have to find out about Comet Ping Pong and the Clintons. You don't have to find out about Bohemian Grove and Moloch and all these things. You don't have to. But man, you have to take a look around and go, maybe there's more to having a good functioning society than science. Okay? Like, man, you can call me a science denier all you want, but that's my point is that there's more to a society than science. There's more to being a human being than science. There's more to the human experience than this like weird scientism cult that we've all bought into, man. There's way more. There's way more to it than that. And I wish people would wake up, man. And like these red pills that I'm trying to dish out to the people out here, man, like I'm really trying. I'm really trying, man. Because people like health expert Heather here, they seem to be the general consensus. And man, I'm hoping that my video of it's called when Kelowna health experts attack on my YouTube here. I'm really hoping that can be just a little baby red pill for some people, man. I'm really hoping so, because that is irrefutable evidence at the very least that the media is biased. You know what I mean? Or lying, I would say. Yeah, man, it just, it hurts. It hurts watching all these people just like fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. And man, like to put my tinfoil hat on for a minute, sometimes I wonder, like, if this is a pandemic, you know, if this is like just a you know, something that was totally orchestrated, which I'm not even sold that it was. That's not even my whole thing. But if it was, it might actually make sense for them to achieve their goal by making it a virus that's not really that deadly. It might, man, because people like me that care about the truth, we get really caught up in the science. You know, we get really caught in, you know, like David Lindsay and these people, they're really, that's like their whole thing, man. But I don't think we'll ever win on that. I don't think we'll ever win on that. I think the winning argument is a human argument, you know, an appeal to humanity. Because, like, do you feel human? Do you feel like a nice, high functioning, well structured society right now? Because that's not what it feels like to me, man. It feels like a lot of hate. A lot of hate and a lot of division, man. A lot of division. And I think the reason that a lot of people struggle with this whole red pill thing is that a lot of it's really subtle. A lot of it's really subtle. And, you know, most of us truthers are very set on the idea that it's all orchestrated, that all the world's a stage, and that there's somebody pulling the strings. But that doesn't have to be the case for us to be right. You know, it might just be the ebb and flow of things, right? Where, but a good example of what I'm trying to explain is how they always seem to be 2 steps ahead. Whoever they are, whether they is just the ether, you know, like the natural ebb and flow of things, or whether they are like the Illuminati, right, or whatever. They always seem to be 2 steps ahead, because through this all this corona thing, man, people like me, it's really obvious it was really obvious to people like me what was going down. We knew it from the very beginning, or at the very least after the initial 2 weeks to flatten the curve. You know, we saw it for what it was. And right away, they started with the separating, you know, the us versus them thing, where you know, they made a nice little name for us, you know, and it's the same thing. And like, okay, Thought Crime Alert, Jack Clawson Radio Network, but this is like why, you know, the guy who wrote My Struggle, this is why he referred to a certain group of people as pests and vermin and bugs. This is why, is so that you would look at a certain subset group of people differently than you look at everybody else, you know, and you ascribe things like that to them. And what they did with us, with people like me, what they did with people like me is they ascribed words like super spreader and asymptomatic carriers and all these things where, you know, you see somebody walk into a gas station with their bare face out. They look different than everybody else, not just because of what they're wearing, but they because of the propaganda, man. When you see somebody like that, you feel something. You feel like ill, you know. You feel like they're like you shouldn't be around them. And if you talk to me and my friends, there are things that happen that are really weird, that don't make any sense. Like one of my friends went into a gas station and everybody crapped their pants because they didn't have their muzzle on, and you know, this person was exempt. They were exempt. And they had something in place. They had like a, you know, a piece of paper or whatever, or like something that looks official. I don't know if it is or not, but, you know, they had something there. And so these people were like, they didn't know what to do. And so they basically shuffled everybody in the store to one corner, and this person went and paid for their thing. And as they're walking out after paying for their thing, they look back, and this person is like violently sanitizing the entire countertop. And this person and this person was telling me that like they didn't even touch the countertop. They had like their thing, it was a bag of peanuts or whatever. They put it there, they tapped their debit card, they picked it up, and then they walked out. And the person working the counter is like violently sanitizing the whole countertop. And then they go over to the door and they like violently scrub down and sanitize the handle. And like, that's not science. Okay, sorry. Thought Crime Alert, Jack Clawson Radio Network. That's not science. That's not what science is. It doesn't make any sense. But it's because there's this propaganda campaign that they think there's this like magic cloud around somebody who refuses to wear a mask, you know? And they think that they leave behind like a trail of a coronavirus. Like the whole thing is so outrageous and so silly, but it's no accident. It's no accident, man, that they look at us different, that they feel different around us. And they started it early, man. They started it early, and they separated us into these groups. But man, like, I'm gonna dive into that science side a little bit. Nobody from these rallies has gotten sick, man. Nobody. And there's a lot of old people. Man. There was, I don't know if I should talk about this, but I should. I will. Sorry, man, if people are listening that might be upset at me saying this, but at church, there was a 94-year-old woman there, and I gave her a hug. Sorry, Thought Crime Alert, Jack Clawson Radio Network. I gave her a hug, man, and she shook my hand, and she was happy, you know, and that's her choice. That's what she got to do. And people like that, like, that's what you get to do in this life. You get to be brave and live free, man, and things can happen. But that's what we get to do, man. And you know, there's a lot of people at these rallies, and we're told that it's so dangerous to do rallies. But we're also told that to gather and do this is safe and virtuous. But what's the difference? Really, what is actually the difference between that and... Oh, shit. One sec. Sorry, guys. Between that and this. Like, what's the actual difference, man? Tell me. The only difference is the symbolic diaper, man. The symbolic diaper. And like Commie Henry said initially, she said... that masks are the least effective way to fight coronavirus. You know what I mean? But they need everybody to wear it so that we're all reminded of this big, scary, spooky, bad man virus, okay? And man, people hear me talk like that and they're like, oh, it's such conspiracy theory. But man, it's not that crazy. It's not that crazy. The idea, like, let me run one scenario by you. Let's say they thought it was really deadly at first, you know, and then they freaked out and they crushed the whole economy and like crapped their pants. And then as time went by, they figured out that they made a huge mistake, man. And do you think these people are the types to admit that they're wrong? Do you think they're the types to go, oh, I'm so sorry, you guys, like we really appreciate you guys shutting down your businesses and losing your homes and doing all these things. But, you know, this virus doesn't warrant the response that we had. No, they're not the types to do that, because man, if you're the kind of person that wants to like gain power, you're the kind of person that won't apologize when you're wrong, you know? It's just, they're the types to just double down and just keep going on the same trajectory. And then they ask the experts, they say, what is the best way to slow the spread? And they're health experts. And so they go, keep everybody 6 feet away and put diapers on their faces and no more parties, no more of this stuff. And they're like, okay, you know, that's how this works. And that's their job is to do that. You know what I mean? And these politicians, man, they want us to think that they're doing such a great job because we bought the fear, you know, we bought into the whole fear thing and we're afraid. And, so now they have a solution to that fear. And that solution is like, let's just impose more. Let's just go further. But it doesn't have to be this way, man. It doesn't have to be this way. Whether the virus has a 40% death rate or a 0.002% death rate or whatever, regardless of that, we can be free. We don't have to live under the thumb of these we don't have to live under the thumb of these authoritarians, man. We just don't. I say we liberate Canada. I say we be brave. I say we decide everyone's essential. And man, if you're afraid, if you think that you're at risk and you've done some reading, you've done some research, and you're worried about this coronavirus, and you think that these mandates are really smart, then you do it. You do it. And I'm sorry, but through your logic, you're going to be more at risk because some of us don't want to wear the mask, okay? And because some of us don't want to social distance, and because we put ourselves at higher risk of being carriers. But you keep your distance, and we'll keep our distance from you. If, you know, just like be respectful of people, and just like you can do that. You can get through life keeping 6 feet away from people. You just can. So just like do that. And if you think that the only way out is through getting a vaccine, then stay in your house until you get a vaccine. But don't make me do it. Don't make me do it, man. Because I know a lot of people that are going to blow their brains out if you isolate them anymore. I know people that aren't going to make it. And I know addicts that are going to relapse. And I know people that are like, you can't do this. You can't do this. It's time to stop. Leave us alone. Otherwise, you're going to see it, man. The meek will inherit the earth, because we're coming, man. We're coming, and we don't care what you call us in the newspaper. We don't care what you say to us on social media. We don't care what you yell at us outside your car. We don't care. We're coming for liberation, man. We're coming, and we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. And this is not a violent threat. This is not even an aggressive threat. It's, man, we're like these hugs over masks, people. Hugs over masks. The resistance. We're coming, and we're not going to stop until we're liberated, man. And like, you guys can wear your diapers at the beach this summer. You guys can like let your loved ones that are seniors, you can let them die alone in isolation. But we're not having it, man. We're not having it. We're not gonna let any more kids grow up we're not gonna let any more kids grow up being told that they should assume they have a virus when they're not sick. Because that's abusive, man. That's abusive. And we're not going to grow up teaching our kids that they need to like distance from all the other kids and that they can't wrestle anymore. They can't play in the grass. You know, we're not going to do it, man. We're not going to do it. Like, this progressive, quote unquote, progressive agenda is such a joke. What are we progressing to? That's the thing that like all these lefties need to ask themselves is like, what are you progressing towards? Because as far as I can tell, it's communism. Sorry. Thought crime alert, Jack Clawson Radio Network. But the other part of that is that I think people don't understand that like this communism that we're slipping into is it's like very similarly structured to the Chinese Communist Party, where it's pretty much just like, instead of government just owning everything, it's government and big business is indistinguishable. Indistinguishable. I think that's how you say it. From each other. They're one and the same. They're two sides of the same coin. And that's where we're heading. That's why like corporate interest loves this like social credit score thing. Because, man, how nice would it be if you're like a world leader? How nice would it be if everybody acted the same, thought the same, wore the same thing, and expressed the same views? It would be so much easier, man. And we're getting to a point now where it's pretty much illegal to not believe what you see on the television, you know? But that's where the meek come in. Because, dude, people that don't believe in the television, we've just been keeping to ourselves, doing our own thing. Once in a while, we'll like share a meme on Facebook or whatever and like send you a documentary that you should watch and stuff like that. But we're coming, and you shouldn't have fucked with us. Because now we're not going to stop, man. We're coming for you. And I'm not talking about hurting individuals. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm talking about like this plan that we have. We're diligently plotting to take over the world and leave you alone. That's our plan. We don't want to make anyone do anything. We don't want to make anybody do anything. You know, and some of us, myself included, will try to convince you of certain things. But at the end of the day, we just want everybody to be able to do whatever they want. That's it. That's our whole thing. So leave us alone, man. Leave us alone. But I know you won't. That's it. Like people like health expert Heather here.
Fuck you!
The face of virtue.
With a deep-seated passion, everything I have in my body. Fuck you! I don't need it.
Like, man, these people, they literally stand as like a megaphone for the banks and for the media establishment, the military industrial complex, the big corporate interest, every major party in this goddamn country. They literally are standing there screaming on behalf of them. And dude, our movement is going to get really interesting when they realize how cool we are. And when they realize that we truly are a grassroots movement. We are radical hug enthusiasts. That's what we are, man. That's what we are. We are so far from what the newspaper has told you about. And a lot of us are wild, man. We got some crazy ideas, crazy beliefs, crazy views, and some crazy evidence for what we believe. That's really compelling. Like, like just wait till all this shit comes out, man. It's going to be really interesting. And, it's going to be really interesting. As this shit unfolds, man, and those with eyes to see will see it. They really will. And there's a lot of people right now living with a mask over their eyes and a mask over their face and masks over both ears. But man, you can only hide from the truth for so long until it comes out. And it's coming, man. It's coming because we're right. We're right that freedom over security is the answer. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here to tell you. And we're coming, man. We're coming. So I love you guys. Be brave, live free, take your vitamin D and hug your family. Let's liberate Canada together, man. Let's come together. And dude, I'm telling you guys, the only way out is by voting for these libertarians. Like, obviously, you have to convince people, wake them up. If we all rip the diapers off tomorrow, we'd be out of a lot of this. But it goes deeper than that, man. Because at this point, it's not just about getting rid of the mandates. At this point, it's got to go further. It's got to go further because we've all known for a long time that something's wrong, and we've all known that we're due for a reset. As you know, as much as I don't like to admit that, it is time for a reset because something's got to give. Something's got to give, and so this reset either goes into communism or it goes into liberation. You know, that's it. Those are our two options. Sorry. But those are our two options, man. That's it. And I choose liberation, you know, so vote for your libertarians, man. Vote for independence. But these libertarians know their shit, man. And they're the way out. They are. And they're not going to save you. They're just going to leave you alone. That's how you can trust them, man. That's all they promise is less government. That's like their only thing is just less government in your life. And so if you're tired of like these diaper chads yelling at you at the grocery store, if you're tired of like these, all these dots on the floor and all these things, that's the only way out, man. That's the only way out. So yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, people. I love you, people. Check out the One-Eyed Budgie in Karamias, British Columbia. You tell them, use the verbal promo code with your face, have you heard of the Red Pill Wrapper, and you will receive 10% off whatever you're buying, and they will show you something that will blow your mind. They've got a secret thing going on there that you've got to see. You got to see it, man. You got to see it. Go there and see it. It's worth the road trip. It's honestly, man, if you're in Kelowna, if you're in Asuyas, if you're in any of these places, if you're in Princeton, even if you're in Vancouver, man, just go. Just go. And check out the Kelowna Mega Rally on February 13th. It's this weekend coming up. It's going to be huge, man. It's going to be huge. And you'll see the Red Pill Wrapper there. I'm going to be doing something special. I'm going to be doing a little performance, a little unorthodox performance. You guys will see. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, take care of yourselves. Don't tread on me. Liberty over medical tyranny. I'm out.
At the door, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get ready, you can see 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm just here to ring my bell. We the people get around. We the people get through hell. What are they cooking up now? Stand up, take off. God here, I got this inside. Three not going to be the part of out of the world.
One more mix! Red Pill Wrapper! Woo!